So we're just gonna go over some of what we've been working on at Impact, what we're gonna be working on in the next, let's say, few weeks, and then kind of a broader view of what we want to achieve, and then we're gonna have some kind of discussion if you have any questions and so on. So we just start with some updates. Season 1, the degen and ham were already airdropped. Obviously, ham is, that's all there is, because there's not going to be more tips going with ham, but that's okay. Impact fund growth. So if you can see the degen leaderboard, we're number 2 right now. So, the allowance has been cut in by 80%, but we're growing relatively, so maybe we'll achieve the same level we were last season, which means that we're basically 5 times growth, which is not bad. User growth, since we launched the automatic rewards, you can see kind of an inflection point. So there's more growth. That's nice. Nice to see, but obviously we want to keep pushing and growing. So from what we discussed last month and the previous Impact call, we shipped the customized auto funding. So now you can do it for channels. You can do it based on the curator, or you can just do it for the ecosystem. That's all kind of, you can see it. Let me show it here. If it loads. Some reason I have pretty slow internet connection today. All right, let it load for now. So channels, as I said before, we now have channels in the Impact Fund. So you can actually, if you have a channel that you're either running or you want to support, you can auto fund that channel through Impact Fund. And for now, it's with degen, but we want to grow it to more tipping tokens and do it on chain in addition to the degen. So basically, you'll be able to airdrop any token you want to your contributors based on their impact, and you'll be able to see it kind of their impact based on the reviews. So that's kind of something to come. So this is something that we ship the channels. Impact score and invites. So now you can see who you invited. And we're actually going to improve this a little bit, because this is based on, since we last shipped some frames that allow you to refer users. Anything that came before that, you wouldn't see that. So you wouldn't see anyone invited probably more than a month ago. But whoever is invited since, you'll see a little bit of data on them, and you can kind of help onboard them if you see that, even though they're signed up, maybe they're not actually active. So you can, if they're your friends or if it's someone you know, you can kind of help them, onboard them, tell them how the system works, tell them what's the benefit of using it, and so on. And you get some reward if they're auto funding, or also if they're curating. You get, as part of your impact score, you get an additional bonus for their contribution. So therefore, you want to onboard not just users, but users who actually contribute to the system and contribute to Impact's growth, and by extension, Farcaster's growth. Automated impact rewards, we kind of went over that a little bit. So that's what we have. I'm not eligible for those, unfortunately, I guess. I don't know. But you guys are. Anyone who's contributing, you can claim your rewards. and it's a daily thing, or you can wait a few days and kind of claim it as a batch of like 3 or 4 days. So what we're shipping next? The next thing is we're gonna rework our up and down voting system. I kind of went over it on the last call, but this is something that is still kind of in the works. What is that? You got a question?
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, but I just wanted to ask, where do you claim that, or how do you claim that? The daily thing,
Right.
that you said?
So you claim it through the frames, through the impact frames, and basically you're gonna have you'll be able to. You're gonna see here your degen reward, and you're gonna see this in green. So you can just click on it. It's gonna generate a frame in Warpcast, and then you can just share your frame. And the actual reward is claimed at the end of the month. So that's kind of how it works. So that's that.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure. So we're gonna rework the up-down voting system. Basically, is gonna be instead of having the system the way it works now, which is you kind of see it here. It's gonna be based on your. You'll be able to sign up for based on your curator score. You'll be able to sign up and subscribe to kind of quality review, and you'll be able to earn additional points. And Jackie, you asked actually before on the way the system works right now is you get your daily allowance, and at some point the allowance is just it grows to a point where you cannot stake so many points, like you have to work all day to do it or something, and that's clearly not the purpose. The purpose is that the system should reward you for quality curation, and we're already doing that through the impact score, and that translates to other rewards. So we're gonna rework that a bit, that instead of getting some crazy allowance, I think mine is like 700 at the moment because of my impact score, but you'll be able to still get a decent amount of points if you have a good score, and the additional points are still going to go toward the rewards, and you'll be able to do the curation of the quality curation, which is also going to be based on the system, which means that it's like an additional thing you can do, and you can earn more rewards based on that. So we're going to work the allowance part. Next part, I already talked about on-chain tipping, V2 frame. So I'm thinking how to implement the V2 frames in a way that actually makes sense for us, in a way that we can get the most benefit from it. At the moment, our V1 frames make a lot of sense because it's just, usually it's just one click. You don't really need the whole kind of full window view, but we're going to make sure that when we ship the V2, that it's something that is actually makes sense for users, that the notifications would make sense, how the user interaction would make sense, and so on. That's something that's not going to be shipped probably within the next month, just because there's other things. This is a big deal, actually. Like, it seems like it's a small thing, but reworking this, and it's going to basically eliminate this functionality here and create a whole other system for it. So it's a major rework. So I need to make sure that that works well. On-chain tipping, also need to make sure that works well. So that's kind of the next things coming up. But the big issue that we're trying to push is extended reactions. And the idea is that if Warpcast, if Farcaster were to implement extended reactions, then our whole system would be native to Warpcast and native to Farcaster. And then the next step after that is if you can have your timeline based on this data. But basically, extended reactions would allow you not just for impact, but for any kind of project on Farcaster. Let's say if you have a DAO and you want users to vote in your channel, if you, instead of having to go to a different website or having to use a frame or anything like that, if you could actually vote through a custom reaction, then you'd obviously, it'll be a lot easier to just navigate Warpcast, navigate whatever client you have, and just stay on the client while doing everything you need to do within the channel. Someone wants to join. All right. So that's the idea of extended reactions, and that's kind of what we're trying to push. This is a major push. If Warpcast were to adopt this, if Farcast were to adopt this, it would not just benefit Impact, it would benefit the whole ecosystem. And that's why I wanted to talk about the Farcaster user-centric stack, which is what is really our kind of broader vision for Farcaster. Obviously, we're not the Merkle team, but maybe if we can push this, I think it would benefit the whole ecosystem. It would help us grow, and it would create kind of a center of attention for Farcaster that we don't have right now, because we're just competing with Twitter or whoever for just for attention. And what we're saying, we as in Farcaster, kind of their marketing right now is come to Farcaster, you can earn for casting and so on, but we can make it much more much broader and like a much stronger reason to come if we build this Farcaster ecosystem instead of what we have right now, which is just kind of social media client. So the idea is, we already have the data, the hubs, and we right now have Warpcast and a bunch of other clients which work as the social media platform. And what really makes Farcaster powerful is the decentralized FID, which is basically you have your user, and it has a whole bunch of kind of data associated with it. And if you can make it much more useful for users, for example, if you can use your data and your friends' data to have, let's say, a Farcaster-based Yelp, which means that you want to look for restaurants that your friends or people who have similar tastes like, or a Farcaster-based Spotify, same idea. You don't have these systems right now, in the sense that these, like the Spotifys of the world, the Yelps of the world, and other tools like that, other apps like that, they're all closed, because the way they make money is from either subscription or from advertising and so on. Farcaster can make it different. We can make it in a way that is based on actually benefiting the user the most, instead of benefiting these big corporations. So that's what we're trying to push with what we're building. And what we're building is the proof of impact incentive layer to this whole system. And the idea is that if we're rewarding people based on their contribution, then you can build Spotify for Farcaster, and you can build the Yelp for Farcaster, or banks, or YouTube, or a whole ecosystem of other products, that each of these products will be based on how much they contribute to the ecosystem, and therefore they would want to benefit the user the most, and they would want to use the data in a way that you can make the most out of these products. And also they would want to integrate with each other and kind of build off of each other, rather than working in silos, which is what you have right now for Twitter, for YouTube, and so on. So Web 2, they cannot do this. And Web 3, we can do this because we're decentralized and because we have this open data, but we need the incentive structure for it. And that's kind of what we're building with Impact. So that's kind of the broader vision. That's not coming in the next month or next 2 months, but it's something that we're building towards. And that's kind of the purpose of what we're doing with Impact and the purpose of our growth. So just want to open it to everyone. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any issues that you wanted addressed, we can open the floor for that.
I mean, I've personally sort of stopped doing the daily sendouts because if I'm staking on casts and it's going to go to them, airdrop to their wallet at the end of the month, I'm like, I guess, are people still doing the like tipping on curations, or is that like become a little bit more backside or back end of it? Because like sometimes I'll get, the 2 degen or the 2 hunt, and I'm like,
Right.
leaving it there.
Right. So right now, if I look at the data, about somewhere between 5 to 10% of the total degen, at least, is going through multi-tips, which means that 95% goes through Impact Fund. That's not but what you're asking is really about the frames, like sharing the frames. And this is something that's in the works, in the sense that instead of having just a frame for the multi-tipping, we're going to have a similar frame for the auto fund, which basically means like, you funded today, you sent your tip, but it doesn't mean that this information is kind of, should not go anywhere. But basically, you'll still be able to share a frame saying, I'm auto funding, these projects and these users, these casts, and so on. And people will be able to interact with that, will be able to multi-tip through that or auto fund. The reason we kind of shifted the meta a bit more toward the auto fund is because it's a much better distribution. Like you don't have, even if you have, let's say, 10 degen today, in your allowance, that's at least 300, let's say, by the end of the month. And then if you have, however many however many creators that you're supporting, you can kind of distribute it to them. And once you have the on-chain component to it, then you can not just distribute degen, but you can distribute, whatever token you want to them. And you can kind of, the point is that it's not just you who's rewarding them, but you can also get like your friends to reward them, and so on. You have another question?
Oh, I just have a statement. Wouldn't that be one of the best examples or ways to get you into that concept of that V2 frame? Is starting it off with that, where you have the cast with what you are funding, and then they can scroll through that feed and see the actual cast themselves.
Right. Well, at the moment, you can already do that through our frames, as is through the mini app.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that would be
No,
like one of
you're right.
the most seamless things to do.
Right. Yes, that's true. I mean, that would be one feature of the V2 frame, but I kind of want it to be a bit more than that. Like I don't want it to be just like we already have this functionality, but you can also do it in a V2. Kind of want it to be like, maybe if you have a channel, you can see immediately kind of, the contributors, you can see their casts, you can, you can change how you filter it, and so on. So I want it to be kind of more powerful. I don't want it to just release a frame and then kind of have to rework through that, if that makes sense.
I keep running into coding problems when I try to have AI do it, so I will take your word for that one.
Any other kind of issues, questions, suggestions? I don't have not enough degen. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for the on-chain tipping then if you have any other tokens. Anything else, guys? That's my problem. That's everyone's problem. The allowance just killed us this season. All right, let's give it another minute. If you guys have any question, like last time, let's or suggestions. I also maybe wanted to bring up an idea, but kind of we'll see how it goes. But basically, maybe a different meta a bit, which is allowing creators to be rewarded, let's say at a higher rate if they, let's say, contribute to some kind of a subscription service, which basically means that, let's say we have a bunch of users subscribing to Impact, which basically means that, they're monthly contributing to everyone, and they're rewarded with, let's say, if you have, a drop, if you drop art or something else, you can be rewarded kind of proportionally a bit more, whatever that percent, but you kind of bring more rewards, which is not just degen, but kind of other tokens, USDC, whatever it is, and then everyone benefits from it, and those who actually contribute more and kind of bring more value for people who want to contribute, they're rewarded more. So that's just something I'm floating out there. This is not, kind of wasn't really part of the roadmap, but just thinking through this, and let's see what you guys think. Need some catch up about what has been talked about, if possible, because I wasn't online. So we pretty much just went over the agenda. You can see it on the screen, probably some updates. I also recorded this, so you'll be able to go over it later, but we got the updates, what we shipped, what we're planning, the extended reactions, which is, I kind of published it before, and the broader vision, which I also kind of, you'll see it in the video, basically. Yep. All right. If no further questions, no further comments, we can close this one. What do you guys think? All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.